Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Firstly, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Astrid Haura, and I would like to thank Kak Chena for his invitation to me, so that I can be here and meet these new faces that some of them are familiar, like Kak Hairi, Kak Chena, and Hafiz. I'm standing here to present my explanation about Indonesia's foreign policy in response to China's 9-dash line claim that extend to Natuna waters, actually. But before I proceed to my explanation, let me explain a bit of myself first. In here, I was said to be the coordinating ministry for maritime project. Well, actually, I am just international relations graduate from UIN Hidayatullah, Jakarta, majoring in international relations. I just graduated last year, so I'm basically Kak Chena's junior. Actually, my line of focus is in environmental issue, but I will try my best to explain the issue of Indonesia-China bilateral relations regarding the South China Sea dispute settlements. Okay, all right, let's proceed to the explanation. It is impossible to talk about the South China Sea disputes unless we already know our big picture of the issue. So, South China Sea dispute, if we trace back the South China Sea disputes, we can go back to the 9-dash claim that China made during the history that encompasses much of the South China Sea area. Actually, 90% of the South China Sea area is within the 9-dash claim of China's claim. 9-dash claims, 9-dash line claim of China was actually based on historical rights that China made because back at that time, Chinese fishermen used to fish in the waters that is now within the 9-dash claim. But the problem arose when that 9-dash claim actually overlapped with the waters of jurisdictions of several countries in Southeast Asia, such as Brunei Darussalam, Vietnam, Thailand, not Thailand, but the Philippines and Malaysia. It all started in 2009 when the Chinese government issued a passport that in one of the pages set a map of China and include the South China Sea region in it. And from that passport, we can conclude that China already admits that South China Sea is its area. So the countries that I've mentioned before starting to get startled, and they become claimant states on this. So they think China recognizes the waters that is legally based, admitted in the UNCLOS 1982, which China was a party of that also. So China's claim is basically a historic rights, while the four states claim is a legally based claim that is recognized in UNCLOS 1982. And this got more interesting from here because the dichotomy between non-claimant states and claimant states happens in here. The non-claimant states in the South China Sea constitutes Indonesia, Thailand, and several other countries like Myanmar and the landlocked Laos PDR, and so on and so forth. But in the Southeast Asia region, the one country that was brave to make a step to kind of resolve this kind of thing was Indonesia. So Indonesia tried to involve in this uncanny situation by inviting countries of claimant states and some countries in Southeast Asia to discuss about this matter. And actually, in one occasion, Indonesia asked China for a confirmation of whether they really claim the South China Sea as what? As their region, as their the historical rights waters, or what? But China never gave a clear answer on that. So there was no clarity regarding the South China Sea claim that China made, because China never answered the clarification that Indonesia was asking. And in addition to that, actually the 9-dash claim overlaps Natuna waters in a way. Why I said in a way? Because only a small part of Natuna waters is in the 9-dash claim. But Indonesia always reiterates its stance that it is not a country of dispute in the matter. So Indonesia become non-claimant state on this. But there is an ambiguous opinion from prominent figure of Indonesia. In 2014, we heard that Minister of Foreign Affairs of that time, Minister Martin Natalegawa, he denied any territorial disputes between China and Indonesia when asked about that. Even he citing that Indonesia has an effort to attract Chinese investment to Natuna. Yet in another time, but still in the year of 2014, General Muldoko in Wall Street Journal wrote that Indonesia is wary that Chinese navies might attack Indonesia soon because of the Natuna waters. So this is kind of strange situation. What kind of stance does Indonesia stand in here, right? But Indonesia doesn't provide any information until 2017. President Jokowi issued the Indonesian Sea Policy, or Kebijakan Kelautan Indonesia, which legalized Indonesia's global maritime fulcrum foreign policy. In one of the pillars, there's security policy pillars that said clearly that Indonesia will uphold its state sovereignty over threats in its waters. And it was in 2017. And it was formally issued in February 2017. Several months later, actually in July of 2017, Indonesian officials announced, maybe I presume it is because of the Indonesian Sea Policy, foreign policy, Indonesian officials announced the renaming of the nomenclature of South China Sea to be North Natuna Sea. I presume this is the move that Indonesian government made as a reiteration that Indonesia has a sovereignty in its waters because of the claim in a way that Natuna is included in the 9-dash line. But there's a interesting story behind the renaming of the nomenclature, because I read in an article in Diplomat that one time the Indonesian government met with his Chinese counterparts and he asked, does the most southern tip of the 9-dash line fall north or south of the Natuna Sea? And his response was south. It means that the claim that China made over Natuna Sea is bigger than the dashes that we see in the internet regarding the claim. And it was before the Indonesian officials announced the renaming of the nomenclature. So, From my opinion, Indonesia, by changing the nomenclature of South China Sea to North Natuna Sea, is taking a tougher approach on upholding its sovereignty, especially in the field of sea and maritime. But what most people doesn't know is that the renaming of South China Sea to be North Natuna Sea doesn't actually address the whole South China Sea, but only the part of the Natuna waters that China claimed. So it's somewhat, we kind of can say that it is domestic, because it is made for our domestic jurisdiction, and it's for maintaining our sovereignty, not to attract international attention, not to grab international attention, and to involve Indonesia in the midst of the conflict of South China Sea disputes with other countries that is of claimant states. And also Indonesia, I think there's an obscure act that Indonesia issued in here, because Indonesia has never been clear about this, this spat with China. Indonesia always says that we maintain soft power diplomacy to the conflict because China has always been our friends. We develop relations that is regional comprehensive strategic relations, and China is our trading partner, actually one of the top trading partners of Indonesia. So yeah, so I think that's all that I can share with you guys. Maybe we can discuss this later. Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To be honest, it's actually a tough discussion, and we just started at 9, almost 9 p.m. at night, and we talk about the disputes. It's like it will be a long discussion. It should be a long discussion. Yeah. First of all, let me introduce myself. So my name is Among Pundi. This is the real name. So because some of the college always ask me whether this is a fake name, nickname, or the real name, then I say that yes, that's my name. It's correct, Among Pundi Resi. So you can call me Among Resi or Pundi. It's up to you. Feel free to call me. Yeah. And secondly, responding to the discussion tonight is actually, I was so shocked actually when Sena called me and asked me, Mbak, could you come to this discussion and we talk about the South China Sea dispute with the colleague from Majelis Zikir. And then I said that, oh my God, this is something out of my portfolio. So I will say honestly to you guys. So yes, I learned about the maritime security at the moment, but actually the defenses issues is not of one of my interests. I'm sorry guys, yeah, it's maybe irrelevant, but we can see the link between maritime and the defenses. So I will starting from Astrid. Astrid say that up to now actually Indonesia still not declare how our position within this dispute. What will we do, or what should government do? It's kind of on the gray areas. Everyone talk, and even at the first time and the first place, each ministerial give the different response. We still remember, I think, one of the ministries said that, oh, okay, we need to stand, yeah, because we need to protect our security, our nations. But other also say that, okay, we don't have any problem with this. This is only misleading information, and then kind of that. Yeah, talking about the dispute with the China, this is not the first time. We have long story, and it's like Astrid mentioned, it has started after World War II also. When UNCLOS also defined that this area has become Indonesian's water. China felt, oh, it's up to UN. UN can define everything, anything, but we also have our own argument. That's what they say. And how to respond this, or how the government should be respond on these issues actually. Yeah, first of all, we need to know, or we need to see the historical backgrounds between us and China. Indonesia is one of the countries who depend on China's policies and China's aid. That's why it is really clearly to see that we will not have strong position. We don't have the strong argument to them. And this also can be seen because the fact that our conflict with China, it has been taken for long time. But Indonesia never have any coalition with the other countries. If we really want to strengthen our position, and if we want to send a message that we are here, stand up for our rights, for our territory, actually Indonesia could make a coalition with eight other countries that Astrid mentioned. But it's never being done. Even like trying to initiate discussion within this ASEAN member state, because almost all ASEAN member countries is affected, but none of the discussion has been initiated. Yes, there is bilateral discussion, both countries speak each other, but it's only between Indonesia and China, and we never trying to involve other parties. Eventually, the discussion about the border management, it should not only owned by the Indonesian government, because it's related to the other countries. So why we don't open our door, our heart to talk with others? That's the first question. Secondly, the big issues in this specific dispute with China, it's also about the investment of the China, right? In other hand, we say that yes, we will have a bargain position with China, but the fact that on our agenda, when we want to develop fishery centers, that China and Japan is the player on this. And so that's why we have so much dependency with China in regards to the investment, economical linkage, and everything. And the third one, this is the funny things, I think. This is my own perspective and my own opinions. We always say that, like Astrid said, government say that, oh, maritime is our agenda. Yes, we develop maritime plan, security, defense and security planning. But if you go through the documents, none of them is actually clearly mentioned what will be the roadmap on this. And it's been very long time that our security issues are focusing on the internal conflict rather than responding to the external conflict. Why? Because our Navy and also our military is only focusing on the terrorisms, piracies within these countries. But we forget that we need to build strength, Navy, strength powers, and that means that you also need to equip your military with the latest tools, the latest equipment, but we forgot. Because, yeah, everything, when we look into the document, it's more focusing in combating national crimes instead of like how to prevent our country from the international threats. It's never been talked. So our response is still like, yes, on one case by case. With the Philippines, for example, we have the dispute as well on North Sulawesi. And we could come up with the agreement, soft diplomacy. Pak Hafaz at that time took lead on this discussion and negotiation. Yes, win-win solution. But with Malaysia, for example, we lost our islands as well. Yeah, this is a complex issues actually. It's not, that's why I mentioned that it's not will be gonna the maritime issues itself, but it's linked to other issues. So how the best respond and what should government do, this will conclude my recommendation actually to the government, and we could discuss later on as well, that we need to try to map out whose actor been involved there. This is not only about the responsibility of the navals, but also other parties, other ministries, including also maybe civil society organization. When we discuss about the security issues at the moment, security is not belong to the governments only, but a lot of the parties who has involved. Even when we talk about, let's say, how many fishing vessels that actually currently operating in Natuna water, or how many other sea transportations that move between Indonesia and Malaysia, other countries also has the data as well. It's not belong to Indonesia only. There is private entities who also plays significant role in this. And quite often actually, when we have the dispute on the maritime and seas issues, many of the government actually seeks the support from these private entities. That's why there is one we call like privatization of the security. So the security is not belong to the governments anymore. That's why when we responding to this specific dispute, we need to talk, and also we need to involve more parties, not only put these issues on Kemenko Maritim, for example, only, or it's belong to MOFA only. Yeah, I think that's all from me, and the rest we could discuss during the discussions later on. But apologize, I think I could not stand with you longer because I have baby. So I need to be home at 9:30. I'm so sorry for this. I know this is very interesting topic, but I will try to stay with you guys until 9:30. Yeah, thank you, and yeah, let's discuss.